We are now 3 weeks into the government shutdown. Still no end in sight. But what we are beginning to see are its real-world effects. The FAA says staffing shortages from the shutdowns caused thousands of flight delays across the U.S. over this past weekend. According to the website FlightAware, at least 8,000 flights were delayed from Friday to Monday at major airports. They include Dallas, Newark, Chicago, and Atlanta. About 13,000 air traffic controllers and 50,000 TSA officers are currently working without pay. And there's some new polling out this very morning about the shutdown. The latest Reuters Ipsos poll finds that half of Americans blame Republicans in Congress for the shutdown. That's compared to 43% who blame Democrats, 50 to 43. When asked who is feeling the financial effects of the shutdown, 21% said they themselves have been hurt by it, while 39% said it has hurt people that they know. And a majority, including almost all Democrats and half of Republicans, said the expiring health insurance subsidies should be extended. So, Joe, look, shutdowns aren't good for anyone, but what has been consistent these last couple weeks, Republicans taking more of the blame in voters' eyes. And it does seem like there was some talk in the first day or two of the shutdown. Could Democrats hang together? Well, they have. And it seems like they picked the right issue to rally around, health care, really resonating per that poll.
Well, which, I mean, it's incredible they did that. I mean, Molly, of course, there's long been a parlor game played in the most exclusive places in Georgetown and also in the Upper East Side, where people would play this game and just live in this make-believe world that Democrats actually figured out how to be on the right side of an issue and actually be able to explain it to the American people in a way that they would be on their side. Boom. We dream no more. 72% of Americans come on, hard to believe. 72% of Americans are on Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' side. They're actually winning this debate. What's the impact on the shutdown?
And, you know, it's funny because I was a shutdown skeptic. I thought, oh, Trump has this huge microphone. Democrats have had real trouble messaging. They're not going to be able to do it. And remember, Schumer caved the first time in March when they tried to shut down. So I thought for sure this is not going to work. And I have been shocked at how they have been able to message in a really consistent way. They have been able to stay focused. And, you know, I talked to someone in leadership yesterday who was saying to me, you couldn't make this case about pocket rescissions. You couldn't make this case about how Donald Trump was taking the power of the purse away from Congress, which he is also doing with this, with the funding stuff and, you know, not spending the money that's been allocated. But this is very clear. It's happening. And, you know, November 1st, these premiums go up in Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, and John Heilemann, it's one of these things where, you know, politicians in Washington can talk all they want to, but as Ross Perot would say, when the rubber meets the road and people see that their health care premiums keep skyrocketing, they see that the denials keep going up, when they see that the affordability crisis hits them where it is the most personal, when they start getting notices from the rural hospitals that, you know, wings of hospitals are going to shut down or their pediatric care is going to be challenged or threatened, or that nursing homes that are funded by Medicaid, that doctors are, you know, it has a real world impact. And suddenly, you don't need a gaggle of 15 Democrats behind a microphone and a podium with a Capitol behind them. This is happening to people in Middle America. This is happening to people in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district. It's happening to people in Hakeem Jeffries' district. It's happening across the board. And Republicans can have very logical arguments about clean CRs. They can have very logical arguments about whatever they want to have clean, about regular order, which I support. Regular order. It just doesn't matter to most Americans. Most Americans feel the pinch of these health care costs skyrocketing, and they're blaming Republicans.
Right. And I think, Joe, it's interesting because when you look at all the data around shutdowns and polling in the past, and in this case, this turns out to be consistent, You know, you always have a fight, a messaging fight between the two parties trying to blame each other, right? And the question is always like, who's perceived to be winning or losing? The answer to that turns out to not have almost anything to do with the messaging about blame, because most voters just assume these are hypocritical, deceptive politicians who are engaged in the blame game. The way in which they decide is on the basis of what it seeps in at some point. The real messaging battle that seeps in is, what is this shutdown about? What are we fighting over? And it turns out that there are some issues that if you're fighting over them, they will blame Democrats, and some they will blame Republicans. And if the issue is health care, if health care is at the center, that's an issue the Democrats are going to win on. And so the great success here the Democrats have had has not been about blaming Republicans effectively, but about making the fight, as Lemire said before, it's so essential. They made this fight about an issue that they were almost guaranteed to win on. And then you get to your point about affordability. I got to say, the health care thing is out of control, but it's doubly out of control when you put it next to the broader inflation concerns, the tariff issues, the fact that people call this, the Biden administration, we call it inflation. Now we call it affordability, but it's the same thing, which is that people were already feeling the pinch in a million ways that they didn't think they were going to be feeling the pinch because Trump said they wouldn't be doing that anymore. Prices are still high across the board. And then you throw a health care kicker on top of that. That is a recipe for a resonant political issue.
Yeah, and you know, we have a story on the front page of the New York Times. It's something Andrew can talk about in a second, John, Lemire. But we do really have a two-tiered economy. There are, to quote John Edwards from 2004, there are two Americas. We have seen one statistic after another over the past 2 years that our GDP that is rising because the richest of the rich are spending a lot of money. Well, we're starting to see working Americans and middle-class Americans getting crushed by the affordability crisis. A story yesterday talking about how you have working Americans that are not able to make payments on cars that they've gotten, on car loans. And the crunch is really starting to come. Front page of the New York Times, splurge by rich as many strain just to get by. It's on the front page of the New York Times here. And that is the real challenge, yes. The richest of the richest of the rich who are getting these Republican tax cuts, they're doing great. They're spending a lot of money. Things are better for them now than ever if they're heavily invested in the stock market, if they have been for the past couple of years. They're making more money than ever before. It is working Americans who are getting crushed. It is middle-class Americans who are getting crushed, and they're the very people who need help on the affordability crisis, whether you're talking about at the grocery store, at the gas pumps, or when it comes to their health care. And that's what this debate is going to center around. That's what the races in New Jersey and Virginia and New York City are going to center around this fall and next fall. It's what the midterm elections are going to center around. And right now, we're in an economy where the rich are getting richer, and it's getting tougher for working Americans and middle-class Americans. And the explosion of AI and the fact that more and more young Americans getting out of college aren't going to be getting jobs the way they used to because of AI, only making that divide bigger.
Yeah, and that's tying this all together. You just read from the headline on the front page of the printed New York Times, the lead headline on their app right now, government shutdown with no